I want to get to that real life Fast and Furious. It was a major street racing bust in Los Angeles. Dozens of people were arrested, their cars impounded in this sting. And ABC's TJ Holmes has our story.
Yeah, Lara, and in the movies, you know, the guy wins a race, gets a girl, drives off into the sunset. But in real life, you get handcuffed and you get an impound notice. And sometimes people get hurt or even get killed. LA police seeing an increase now in these illegal street races involving special cars, high-end cars with these modifications and daredevils behind the wheel. Like something right out of the Fast and the Furious. This morning,
right now there's four of us in the room.
Turning more and more California streets into dangerous playgrounds. 44 arrested in a major bust early Monday in Los Angeles. Hundreds of police swooping in, trapping nearly 300 vehicles from a contingent from the San Francisco Bay Area who arrived to participate in illegal street races. The popularity of those races on the rise, publicized through social media, but often leading to dire consequences. This deadly race captured in Los Angeles 2 months ago. The Mustang on the left swerving into a crowd, killing 2 people.
Well, anytime a person gets killed as a result of something like this, we're going to do everything we can to crush
Go ahead and show yourself.
this type of criminal activity.
ABC News recently saw street racers and stunt drivers performing spin-outs like these, known as sideshows, similar to what we've all become accustomed to seeing in those Fast and Furious movies. Authorities say street racing puts not only the drivers, but also the general public at risk.
They feel that they don't have any responsibility for any of this chaos that they're causing.
Spectators, guys, get cited as well. It's illegal to stand around and watch these things, but they want a change in law out there that would allow cops to give you a citation for that special modification that's illegal, but also take your
They happened at intersections like Pecan Valley and East South Cross, and Houston and Cherry Streets, where police say the vehicles blocked a fire truck. Then there was Culebra and I-10, where witnesses say more than 100 vehicles crowded the area. And finally, Bandera and Skyview, where this happened. The Sanchez family lives nearby and was preparing to go to bed when the sound of loud noises like screeching tires and bullhorns jolted them awake.
And I see like a lot of people here running and jumping, and they're just spinning over and over.
There was even girls announcing with the big black sign banner, walking up and down like all sexy, doing their thing.
In the year the family has lived here, they say they have heard other cars speeding down their street.
Chargers, 5.0, trucks.
But nothing like last night's display. Police say some racers even threw objects at patrol cars, breaking windows. One officer minorly injured after being struck in the head with a beer bottle. They say it was thrown by 20-year-old Jesus Torres. He's been charged with assault on a peace officer and evading arrest. 2 others in his vehicle also charged.
From start to finish, Sanchez says the entire fiasco took about 10 minutes. When it was all said and done, police were able to make 14 arrests and issue some 70 citations. Crimes include evading arrest and reckless driving, and if you take a look, you can see a well-known tire mark still left in the middle of the road.
Officers also say they confiscated several weapons and towed numerous vehicles from the scenes. Tonight, SAPD saying it will not tolerate this activity and asking anyone who witnesses it to call 210-225-TIPS. Devin Clark, KSAT 12 News.
Give me a boy's name that starts with the letter.
I've only showcased this one once. I want to showcase it with you here and with an audience of 2 and everybody on our Discord. This is all real. I added a scene that I couldn't find because it was it was not available on the internet. It's all real. It's a mass shooting, and it all happened in a different state, and it holds a lot of power and a lot of residual energy. And when I create it, it just grows and grows and grows. So the more we play it, the more it allows these people to not disappear so fast, for lack of a better term. It keeps that energy in that moment alive, because that's the last moment for these people. I'll try to play the piano to it. It's going to be incredibly difficult to play the piano to this. Once you quickly see what's going on, I can even close this out. Huh? Give me a second. Let me clean it real fast.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, because it's all fucking... I didn't think about that. I knew I should have. The best I can do in the fastest amount of time.
Thank you.
I'm going to make sure it doesn't ever happen again. Moving forward with guests. It's terrible. It's terrible. We're going to continue the stream here shortly. Shut the fuck out, dude. Smells like fast food out here. What the hell? What in the hell? Okay. We're going to begin shortly. Just bear with me. We're going to actually...
Is it okay if I use this towel for a hand towel?
That's fine. I have soap and
You need some soap.
it's all right out here actually. In the kitchen I got it. I wash my hands out here. Here.
Oh, you wash your hands out here?
Yeah, here.
I like your toilet with the full weight stuff. I will not use the under. I'm gonna bring you some hand soap.
Well, I got the powder.
You need a shower curtain too? We took the old one down because I got new matching stuff.
Yeah, I've been debating if I should get one or not. Right now I've mastered the art of not getting water all over the floor.
If you didn't mind if I bring the phone, they have this. I was gonna order it on Tumi. It looks like dungeon doors, shower curtain stuff. It's like a big giant metal. It doesn't sound good, but it looks awesome.
It sounds very unsafe.
No, it's fake ones. It's just on a plastic curtain.
You said it's metal though. If
No,
I slip
it
a
looks
Oh,
like
okay.
dungeon doors.
Okay.
Shower curtains.
I'll have to see this to
Right?
understand it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I have to bring my phone. You got it. You told me not to bring it. So.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna cover up that camera angle.
Oh, that's what you should have in a background. What's a goal?
All right, here we go.
Right.
This is a pretty intense audio. We had 4 people at one point. We've lost 1, but here we go.
Keeping an eye on traffic Avenue.
Whoa.
That was loud. We did have 4 people.
It has an echo for some reason.
You gotta start recording how many people. And then
It records it for me.
And keep track and then watch as your audience
Give me a
grows.
second. Hold on.
Keeping an eye.
Right, watch as your audience grows.
Why do I have such an echo? Hold on. I don't like the echo. There's nothing.
Oh, excuse me.
Really starting to pick up as more riders are being out on the roads, and of course those kids getting back to school. So I'm sure
Okay.
a lot. Keeping an eye on traffic Avenue. Traffic starting to pick up. As more riders are out on the roads, and of course.
What the hell is going on here?
I know it's your stuff.
Give me a second.
Okay.
Keeping an eye.
Why is there a delay? There should be no fucking delay.
Hmm. No, give me a minute. No. He doesn't need a minute.
Come on, goddammit.
I get. It's because I had to go to the bathroom.
No, this
Give us
whole
a minute. I'm just kidding.
fucking thing is being weird.
Ooh. The flame is dancing pretty good.
Okay. What the hell?
Keeping an eye on traffic Avenue.
Oh, I'm gonna lose my mind. Alright, we're gonna do it like this. Since it wants to be fucking retarded, I'm also fucking retarded, so I know how to get around the system when it wants to be fucking retarded.
Hmm.
Where the fuck is it? There it is. Alright, here we go. Not even the same fucking thing. This is all real. It'll all make sense.
Too bad I took that stuff home when you unlocked this.
Are you pregnant? No! Seriously?
Today is a day that's heartbreaking for our city, for all of us.
Some speech is powerful.
At least our city has a heart.
Let's be clear about what this was. This was an evil act of targeted violence. We lost 4 children of God today, one of whom was one of my closest friends. Tommy Elliott helped me build my law career, helped me become governor, gave me advice on being a good dad. It's one of the people I talk to most in the world, and very rarely are we talking about my job. He was an incredible friend.
asked earlier today what I've learned, and it's a hard question right now. I admit that while I'm not angry, I'm empty. And I'm sad. And I just keep thinking that maybe we'll wake up. And I know we are all feeling the same, but I also know that they hear us now and that they feel our love.
Keeping an eye on Spaghetti Junction, and yep, traffic really starting to pick up as more and more of us are getting out on the roads, and of course, those kids getting back to school, so I'm sure a lot of those alarms are going off right now.
There's a quote attributed to Seneca that states, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Meaning it's in pursuing a difficult thing that we attain recognition that we can prove ourselves. But prove ourselves to whom? This is the same Seneca who famously stated that we suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. That he is most powerful who has power over himself. And that's one of the beautiful things about Stoicism. It makes us ask a very simple but often overlooked question: who's really the adversary? Who's the opposition we're dealing with as we fight our battles? What is it that must be transformed? Is it the outside world, or the way our eyes view the outside? What's really holding us back? The circumstances, or our own personal thoughts about the circumstances? I think this is where we misunderstand the challenges before us.
I'd like to call to order the Community Television of Santa Cruz County Board of Directors meeting for April 24th, 2024.
Here we go.
I'm going to do a roll call. I'm here, Nathan Benjamin. I'm here, James Fisher. I'm here, Tess Fitzgerald. I'm here, Jill Hall. I'm here, Karen McConnell.
Is here.
Here. Total Rand, absent. Dory Steinman.
Here.
Lutz Wasso.
Here.
Adam Wade.
Here.
Tom Mann.
Here.
It'll make sense at the end. This will make it make sense here in a minute. Watch.
I know that the first call, a woman who was on a video conference with some people at the bank, I think that she heard the shot.
There's a lot of things going on. Sorry for pausing it on everybody, but there's a lot of things going on. Right now, the footsteps are the person that just shot
I'm
everybody,
running.
and he's running away.
So he was is that the heartbeat we hear?
That's
And
his,
the heavy
that's
breathing?
the heavy breathing, the
And the
heartbeat.
heartbeat?
So you have two perspectives. You have the guy that just shot everybody. You've been listening to him the whole time. You've listened to him walk through all these doors.
Right.
He loaded the gun and shot everybody. Now we're listening to everybody that's alive calling in. We're going to hear the cops show up, and we're just going to get full-on dialogue from here on. It'll make all complete sense.
I think that she saw some people.
But you're right
either-
along with exactly what's
either
going on.
fall, having been shot, or hiding.
Sure, you know what the call is into us. Okay, so 3033 Main Street, what's the name of the business we're going to? Okay, that's the business we're going to also? And how do you know you have an active shooter on the site? I just watched it. How do you watch it? You watched it on the TV? On a team meeting? Yes, we were having a board meeting. Video board meeting?
The caller explained what she saw on that video conference. We knew that it was going to be bad, but I don't think that we really expected how bad it was.
Jiggy!
He moved. He's like, slow me down.
Still going. Oh my God, I can't see anything now.
We had reports that indicated it could really be a really huge event. I could see this run come up, and I knew I had to get that run dispatched as soon as possible.
Dispatcher said, can you go to the service center? I need to put this out. That piqued my curiosity what that girl was having.
Not me. It's something that's on.
And her voice, I'd never heard that before. We had shots fired.
Go take my stuff.
333
Right,
East
that's
Main
what I
at
said
the
to
Old
you.
National Bank.
No, just jumping and hiding. See, it didn't break it.
No, it didn't.
It's just trying
Okay.
to.
Yeah, what did you Ray happen?
Right?
It turned out to be
I got a
what they call
friend.
swatting calls or just
It does
bogus
it
calls.
to me,
Nothing
too.
really clicked to me. Dispatcher said,
But I can stop.
I have another phone call from inside
can?
the bank, and there are
Just
4
to keep
people
my stuff
down.
here.
So I'm gone.
I can't stop from
The
doing
phones
it.
started lighting up. The board was turning red. Multiple people were calling in. There are only so many call takers on shift at a time.
I'm gonna shut up.
It became
Yeah.
obvious there was something to this. This was not going to be a false call. And I actually stood up and I asked my supervisors to send me some help. And one of my coworkers, Emily David, came over to help me.
I was just sitting down, putting my headset back on whenever the run popped up,
Old National
and
Bank.
I could hear, sort of rumblings around the room. Oh, an active aggressor. And my partner on the fire desk, I could hear them start to knock out the unit.
Came from that group.
They can't convert it.
It was just absolute chaos in the air. You had all of the responders coming, and there were lights flashing in the room, and people yelling back and forth, and the phones were ringing. That sense of panic almost, and
Now people are paying attention.
but you have to turn that into what can I do to help?
911, Operator Frost, where's your emergency? Hi, I'm at 333 East Main Street. We are an active shooter.
When she first called, she said that there was an active shooter inside the building, that she was hiding in a closet. There were people shot. She didn't know what kind of injuries they had, but there was blood everywhere.
Has anybody been shot? Yes.
I will never forget her. I will never forget her voice, the way she sounded, the way she whispered. I'll never forget it.
Yes, but I'm in a closet hiding.
I played back in my head things that she was saying. I was focused on making sure I was asking the questions that I needed to ask, focused on her, making sure she stayed quiet, but also trying to get information from her, trying to listen to the background so that I knew when to ask the questions. Because of course, if you're hearing gunfire, you don't want to ask somebody a question to have them answer you, to put them in harm's way.
113 Baker was one of the downtown units. They were the first ones that communicated that they were on scene. It was Officer Wilkes and his training officer, Officer Galloway.
How many people are in the room with you? I don't know. I don't know who's here. I'm in the closet with one person.
Stop right there.
I hear gunshots.
Hold it, show for me.
Baker. We're making entry from the east side at Preston and Main.
We're actually walking up to the left side of the bank. We hear gunfire and officer down.
I heard a shot. That's when I realized it was real. It's not only an active shooter, it's a rescue mission as well.
And I said to Detective Shaw, get in your car, Montano, open up the door on the passenger side. We're gonna do an officer rescue.
So we used my vehicle. Officer Jay Moss was in the back seat. We had 2 other officers using the car shooting.
We were gonna try to go get him, put him in that car, and go to the hospital. I was hanging on kind of as a semi-barricade maybe.
Gunshots ring out again.
God damn it!
I have no idea where the shooter's at. I can't see inside that first floor, the mirrored glass.
That turned out to be the lobby area where the shooter had taken up a tactical position. He had positioned himself to have cover with the elevator shaft kind of tucked back out of our line of sight.
The shooter has an angle on that officer. We need to get up there. I don't know where he's at. The glass is blocking him.
It was a nightmare. He was doing everything he could to keep us from being able to get to our officer.
He's shooting straight through these windows, right towards the officer. We need to be able to plate somehow to be able to get there and pull him down from the stairs.
I went from pillar to post, one concrete barrier to the next. I seen Officer Wilt laying down, Officer Smallwood in the street. I said, cover me, and I just shot up the steps, grabbed his hand, rolled him over, saw that he was gravely injured, and I just told him, we're getting out of here. And as I'm trying to get my hands in his vest, can't really do it because of the blood. Just as I'm trying to tug on him, shots ring out above my head, by my ear.
God, don't have an angle.
So I kind of retreat back down to the concrete pillar. I look over at Officer Smallwood and I said to him, put your gun up, I need help.
I see Officer Galloway fire a couple shots.
As we get to the top of the steps, I hear Officer Galloway say,
I think I got him down. I think he's down. Yank the officer off now. Yank him down the stairs.
I think the shooter gave us an out. When he shot at us, other officer was able to get a shot on him.
Yeah, suspect down. Get the officer. Hey, huh? I know. He's down. Get the officer.
It seemed like everything was in slow motion, even though it wasn't.
Then we ascend those steps. We're still looking for any more shooters.
At that point, we go up to get the injured officer.
His hand was still on his gun.
Roll him over. He has a gunshot wound to the head.
Ran back to my car, grabbed my med bag, ran back up, thinking, instinctively we're all about, trying to triage as much as possible.
And I just looked at him, I said, Smallwood, we don't have the time. Because there's no EMS wagon out here. I said, we don't have the time, we gotta go.
And the decision was made at that point. We were gonna evacuate him out, put him in a car. Being downtown, we knew we were close to U of L.
I'm the third officer in the building. I secured the shooter, his weapon and everything else. So I can visually remember how he was laying, where his weapon was, phone. I can remember every intricate detail of that day.
So we hadn't gotten a word of what was actually going on other than there had been an officer-involved shooting. Then you begin to get more information about how many true victims there are, How many died at the scene? How many are being transported to you? It's the attention. It's the, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. This is now us. You know, you see about it on the news, and the realization sets that you're now part of this, you know, this horrible group of cities that have had to deal with this. This is now you.
Of course, with all the mass shootings that we've reported on across the country, you always hope that something like this does not impact you and your own community, but here we are on Monday morning, right after Easter Sunday.
The 2 days before he passed, Dad took Mom to the doctor to get a test done, and 2 days later, it's a different story. Nick's incident happened 2 months and 2 days after Dad's passing. At Nick's graduation, Dad was gonna pin Nick, and that didn't happen because Nick's graduation was on March 31st. Mom had to take over, but you know, that was hard for Nick too.
So he called me and he said to Mom, do you want to do it? Because I was nervous, you know, we've just had so many things happen. I didn't want something else to happen. So I said, I will do it if you want me to. I didn't want to mess up because it was his big day, but he said, you can't mess up. And it was wonderful. He was very excited. He was pumped. Going to Florida and going to the beach was some of the best times that we had together. You do have to look back and do those memories and go on vacations and have wonderful holidays together because you just don't know. Yeah, that's what keeps me going. Those memories.
Nick?
You gotta have the memories. Zach called me and said, Mom, sit down and breathe. And I said, I didn't even bother. I said, what? What? Just tell me. And he said, Nick's been involved. There's an active shooter. And he said, Mom, it's a headshot. He just took me straight to the hospital and brought me to a little room with a whole lot of people in it. And then when I got there, I knew it was pretty serious when I saw all of the people.
They told me the name, but the name didn't sit until I was able to decompress and I realized who it was. That I recruited this kid and did his background last September. I sat in his living room. Couldn't forget it if I tried. So when I met his parents, his mom, brothers, and stuff at the hospital, went to the hospital because they wanted to see us. My initial response was, I'm sorry, because we couldn't get there quick enough.
Officer Wilt's mother and grandfather looked me in the face and told us, Detective Shaw and I, that without your help, Smallwood's help, they wouldn't have had the time that they're having right now.
I knew that I was going there to check on my officer and to speak with other family members that had lost their loved ones. That walk through the corridor, understanding and knowing the uncertainty was still there. To embrace Wilt's family. And for his mother, when I walked in that room to see her, and she looked up at me and she says, Chief, you just swore him in. Those words will forever stick with me.
I was helping with one of the patients, and I'd helped operate on actually two of the patients that had come in, and we realized that basically the mass casualty was over. But we're in the emergency department, and we're trying to identify who had died at the scene because people were showing up here thinking people may have been transported who were not. It was, you know, that little bit of seeing those people, seeing our staff that were crying.
A call came in about 8:30 about an active shooter at the Old National Bank building.
By the time
criminals in this town used to believe in things. Honor, respect. Look at you. What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in?
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you.
I remember when
stranger.
It's 10 p.m. and more than 20,000 people are watching country singer Jason Aldean at the Route 91 Harvest Festival. Across the street, the gunman Stephen Paddock is in a corner suite on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Hotel. He planned his attack meticulously. He had assembled an arsenal, bolted an exit door shut, installed surveillance cameras in the hallway, and calculated his elevation and distance from the crowd. A few minutes into the show, Paddock fires what appear to be single rounds from his hotel room. Video timestamps reveal that this happened after 10:05. Why doesn't Paddock fire more rounds at first? There are at least two theories. He's checking that the range and trajectory of his gunshots match the calculations he made, or he's firing at fuel tanks in the nearby airport. Whatever the reason, an uneasiness fills the crowd and people move toward the exit. 30 seconds later, we hear what sounds like automatic gunfire. First of 12 bursts Paddock fired at the festival. More people begin to leave at the rear, and lights are turned on. Around the time of this first burst, security officer Jesus Campos is looking into a separate incident when he happens to come across the door Paddock had sealed shut. Paddock appears to be alerted to Campos as he is leaving, and fires through the hotel door, wounding Campos in the leg. Campos takes cover in a doorway and calls in the shooting on his radio. The police and armed security officers begin to respond from within the hotel. 36 seconds after the first burst, Paddock fires a second one into the ground. The cracking sound you hear are bullets passing nearby. The intensity suggests Paddock was aiming very near this area by the front of stage, the densest part of the crowd. There is a short interval here of 17 seconds. People begin to flee again. But then a third burst of fire opens up. The changing pitch of the crack suggests Paddock is spraying the bullets around the area. The fourth burst hits the crowd just 20 seconds later. Paddock has now fired over 300 rounds in less than 2 minutes. The scenes that unfold at this point are distressing. There are multiple injuries stage left, and people begin to treat the wounded around them. At this point, there's a break in the shooting of almost 1 minute and 50 seconds. We don't know what Paddock is doing during this interval. It's possible he fired down the hallway again. We have reporting that by now, Campos has been joined by hotel engineer Stephen Shook, who reports gunfire on his hotel radio.
It's at the end of the hallway. I can't tell you what room. He looked like he fired down the hallway when I got close to the door.
Whatever the reason, this break in the shooting allowed many people to move to safety. At 10:08.
Thank you. 19 vehicle stops, nearly 30 violations and misdemeanor charges, all in one night. New at 10, News Channel 5's Olivia Michael has more on the new initiative.
Here on Anderson Road, Antioch residents say people have nearly been killed by drag racers. And while Saturday night's arrest was a positive step, there's still more that needs to be done.
So I work at night, so I come home every time at nighttime, and I see the drag racing happening up and down Anderson Road all the time.
George Callis says you can hear the sound of engines revving at 3 a.m. in his neighborhood.
If you don't let them do what they want, they will follow you to wherever you live.
Does that make you scared?
Yes, I have installed dash cameras in my car now.
Now, Cortez has to come through Main Street in order to get to the canyon. The only other option is Alsamora. Torrance, you take Frank and Lewis and block that off, and Figgy and I are going to warn the civilians.
Got it.
Hey, Ray.
Listen, guys, there's an escaped fugitive coming through town. It's too dangerous for you to stay here. I want everyone to go home. Did you hear what I just said?
We just ordered breakfast.
It's for your own safety.
You're talking to a 72-year-old man with high cholesterol eating a bacon and cheddar omelet with extra cheddar. Do I look like I'm afraid of death?